On the issue of gender, inside the 5%ers, or the Nation of Gods and Earths, the word Earth is used to refer to African women. And there are some who have felt that was, and I mean, it does certainly seem to be built right into the wording. One would expect the female equivalent of God would be goddess. And there are people such as Erykah Badu and others who've used that term. And when I interviewed Wakil Allah, he author of In the Name of Allah, he said that he was quite fine with the use of the word goddess.
Of course he was.
And Michael Muhammad Knight also has extensive discussion of this in his book, The 5%ers, and on the question of negative attitudes towards women inside the nation, and as well as liberatory ones. First of all, what did you mean when you said, of course he was, in reference to Wakil Allah, and what's your stance on this issue of goddess versus earth?
There is no issue, and I'll just kind of nail that on the head. Unfortunately, sometimes the internet gives this perception that certain things are issues that have been dealt with like years, months, and days ago, or things are being discussed right now amongst the body, which are not. They're actually being discussed on the outskirts. In terms of the concept of Allah being a Muslim, that's not something that's relevant. None of the gods who are building or the earth, we don't acknowledge that. But if you look on the web, you look like, oh man, it's this big discussion. No, it's not. The same thing with the goddess thing. Now, what's interesting to me, in reference to Erykah Badu started studying the science, but she never got through the science, and she never fully identified with us. Yet what's interesting about this goddess thing is that, how should I put it, many of them who are pro-goddess, you mentioned Michael Muhammad and you mentioned Wakil. What's interesting, how I see it presented by a lot of people, is that they are actually promoting what they say they're not promoting, which is, the patriarchy. They're trying to say, woman's a goddess, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And the same thing, the polarity I was speaking about with racism. Just because you call a woman a goddess don't mean you treat her better. A name does not change your interaction with people, and I sometimes refer to a lot of people as what I call the righteous smack. You can be a player and utilize some righteous words and still, in essence, be doing the same thing that a player on the in the club is doing. One of the most essential things that I mentioned about this goddess thing is we have firstborn earth in the nation. Many of them are still here. Guess what? None of them use the term goddess, and they're fine with earth. That, to me, says it all. Ask them what they want to be called, and they'll say earth. Why are you trying to impose goddess on them? Because, one, what you're trying to do is you're trying to inject an element of inequality that does not exist. It's the same way when you'll go to some Islamic countries and you'll talk to the women who wear, for instance, burqas, or wear some form of hijab, and white feminists are coming in there like, you need to be free, they're like, we want to wear this, and actually the white feminists thinking that they're free, and I'm like, but why you wear those heels? Why do you dress that way? You dress that way because you think that will attract man, But to get back to the goddess thing, firstborn earth, they're fine with earth, and they're like, earth is where the physical manifestation of our form manifests. How is that not great? In terms of the dichotomy of we know and understand that if you have, for instance, a host and a hostess, you are saying that the only difference is in the actual physical gender of the person, yet the duty is the same. An actor and an actress. We don't teach that. We teach that, yes, there is a gender difference. And with that gender difference, there is a social imperative, or there's a cultural, social aspect in terms of duties of man and duties of woman. What that allows, actually, if I was to equate them both as being, quote unquote, the same entity, that would allow me not to fully be a man. And so the way into the dichotomy of words, at first it would be like, God, well, God. I'm like, yeah, but you don't call, you say father and mother. You don't say father, fatheress. They're two different words that relate to each other and have an equality with each other that balances out. And that's basically, what we see between God and earth.
Well, could we put that into some practical terms? For instance, if you had a daughter and she wanted to become a doctor or a congresswoman, something like that, how would that jive with your philosophy?
In terms of become a doctor?
In other words, does what you've spelled out, I can see parts of it, but I'm trying to make sure I understand how it applies to actual roles in life. So, for instance, does it mean that a woman is biologically different, but that she should have the same freedom to pursue careers, political
yeah, no, definitely, and that's never been an issue. I mean, we actually have women who are part of Powerborn, one of the first there. She is on the governmental council there. We have Earth who are doctors, gods who are doctors. It really doesn't. That's why the illusion of just offering another word, that offering another word would offer a freedom, is an illusion. What the key is to actually see the importance and the greatness of the term Earth, which no other group of people on the planet refer to their woman as. Now, you can find, on the real, you can find people who call in, their woman the goddess, all the dime a dozen, and they're usually referring to her as some old, in terms of her physical beauty, So it's not unique. It's not unique at all. Now, calling her Earth, that's unique. Ain't no one else doing that, So in getting back to it, it's about showing the importance and the greatness of the term Earth. And can no one tell that more than the Earth itself, who are fine with it. Like, there's no dissatisfaction with it. The dissatisfaction that comes with it is actually what I've seen in my time in the nation, is those who actually wanted to bind elements of feminism with what we teach.
Can you tell me more about that?